Today, we're diving into an explainer on a personality trait you might actually be fiercely proud of. You probably wear it like a badge of honor. But the reality, it's likely causing you some deep, hidden exhaustion. We're talking about the hidden toll of being the low-maintenance child. So if you've spent your life getting praised for being the easy one, the flexible one, the friend who literally never needs anything, well, get ready, because we're going to completely shift your perspective on why you act the way you do. Now, there's this massive cognitive dissonance happening here. On the outside, you present this bright, smiling, oh, I'm totally fine persona, right? And society absolutely loves it. People love when you're easy to deal with. But internally, there's often this profound sense of feeling hollow, empty, kind of just fading away into the background. So you're constantly praised for being easy, while on the inside you feel completely invisible. It creates this huge disconnect between the face you show the world and what you're actually experiencing day to day. Which really brings us to a pretty uncomfortable question. Is your best trait actually a trauma response? I mean, we really have to ask ourselves if being the good kid or the chill partner is actually about your innate personality, or if it's way more about a survival mechanism you developed a long, long time ago. What if your greatest strength is actually just armor you put on because, frankly, it just wasn't safe to have needs?
Let's explore that further in our first section, the identity trap and the myth of the easy child.
So the absolutely crucial point to understand here is that low maintenance isn't actually a compliment. I know it's always handed out like one, but it's really a psychological adaptation. It's a trauma response developed specifically to avoid being a burden to other people. And the really tragic result of this adaptation is the complete erasure of your own needs. You basically learn super early on that the safest way to exist in your environment is to take up as little physical, emotional, and psychological space as humanly possible. And that is exactly why it's a trap. When you fall into this identity trap of being low maintenance, you actively suppress your own voice just to keep the peace. You start to genuinely believe that your value to other people depends entirely on how little you require of them. You become trapped in a character of your own making. And stepping outside of that character, actually saying, hey, wait, I actually need something right now, well, that just feels incredibly dangerous. Moving on to our next theme, the silent wound and the unphotographable scar. Picture this. You might feel like you're sitting in a crowded room rendered entirely in grayscale while everyone else around you is in this vibrant, screaming color. You're there, sure, but you aren't really there. The whole feeling can be summed up in this one stark reality. No one sees you. Because you've become such an absolute expert at hiding your needs, people literally stop seeing you as a fully fleshed out human being with your own internal life. It's like there's just an empty chair where your vibrant self should be. Now, this actually stems from a psychological concept called the absence of mirroring. Mirroring is basically when a caregiver reflects a child's emotions back to them, which validates their existence. So when there's a lack of this emotional reflection, you're left feeling like a faint, glowing outline of a child. It's really important to get this. It's not always about a specific, terrible thing that was done to you. Rather, it's the emptiness of what didn't happen. That's why it's called a silent, unphotographable scar. You can't just point to a single dramatic event, but that profound internal emptiness you experience, it's incredibly real. The neglect was an act of omission. Let's look at how this plays out right now in caretaker burnout. Always the listener, never the voice. If you want to know why you are just so exhausted all the time, look at your daily energy expenditure. You're likely spending about 90% of your emotional energy absorbing other people's problems. You're constantly hyper-attuned to dozens of other people's voices and needs, basically scanning the room to see who needs fixing or soothing. And that remaining 10%, you aren't even spending that on yourself. You're spending it actively suppressing your own needs so you don't bother anyone. It leaves virtually zero energy for your actual life. It's literally just an unsustainable math problem. Which is exactly why the mandate here is so clear. Stop being the rock. When you're the low-maintenance friend, everyone comes to you. But you probably feel as though your own mouth is covered by a heavy stone, just suffocating under the weight of your own overgiving. Everyone is directing their speech bubbles at you, pouring all their life drama into your lap, while you sit there anchored down, completely unable to speak your own truth. Being everyone's rock is crushing you. And this leads directly into the burnout pipeline. Step 1, you are the rock for everyone else. Because of this, step 2, you develop this rigid hyper-independence. You convince yourself, oh, I don't need anyone, I can do it all myself. But listen, that independence isn't empowering, it's an isolation tactic. which inevitably leads straight to step 3, total emotional burnout and your own silent collapse. You're literally carrying everyone else until your own legs give out. Okay, let's talk about fixing this in our final section, reclaiming your voice and breaking the cycle.
For way too long, your experience has been one of deep, deep isolation. Researchers perfectly describe this feeling as though you're screaming out loud but hitting no wall to echo back your reality. Think about it. When you don't express your needs, you don't give the world a chance to respond to you. You're basically just screaming into a void. To build a wall for your voice to bounce off of, you have to start vocalizing what you actually want. You have to start allowing yourself to be high maintenance occasionally. You've got to take up space.
So I want to leave you with this final provocative thought. Really consider this question. Who are you when you stop carrying everyone else's weight? If your entire identity has been built around being the easy one, the silent one, the listener, who is the person underneath all of that armor? It is time to drop the heavy stone, stop being the rock, and discover what happens when you finally let yourself be seen in vibrant color. Start making a little bit of noise today.